It's no secret to followers of this channel that Billy Gibbons from ZZ Top is one of my favourite guitarists. I've been listening to him for many, many years. He was quite an influence on me when I was just starting to learn guitar. Today I'm going to break down 5 of his riffs that have had a bit of an influence on me. They're not his flashiest riffs, they're not his trickiest riffs, but some of them are famous, some of them are not so famous. Here goes. First riff is Certified Blues from ZZ Top's first album in 1971. It's very bluesy. There's a couple of things going on here. I'm going to combine a little bit of the bass and the guitar together because in a few of these riffs, Billy Gibbons does a slightly simplified thing because the bass is covering part of it. So I've combined the two just to make things a little bit more interesting, and assuming that most people here are solo guitar players and like to have as full a sound as possible. So anyway, here it is, Certified Blues. There it is. I'll do it again really slowly. The first thing we're doing is going from our open A string, bending that C up a little bit, like a quarter bend, and then getting onto the octave, which is the A on the 2nd fret G string, then coming back down, doing a little trill, back down, again on that C, do a little bend. Then what Billy Gibbons does is, but the bass is also going. So if you combine that, it's a little tricky. It's kind of an interesting thing to do for something different. And to get it sounding clean will take a little bit of work. But then we move up to the E, hit the open E string first, slide down to the D without strumming the D, then go back down to the D, hit it, slide up, and then hit the E. So it's like this. And then go. I think I slid into that 7th fret before. I don't think he necessarily does that. But again, you look at different versions of this over the years and he'll probably do little things differently. But that's the riff, and it's on your chart. The second riff is something that you may have heard a cover version by Joe Bonamassa. Just Got Paid is a killer riff. There are ways to do it on the open strings, but watching Billy and also watching Joe, they both play it further up the neck because it gives it a little bit of a better flow. Now, the riff goes like this. So the riff that Just Got Paid is like this. And they land on this cool groovy chord. I'll put the name of it up here if I can figure it out what it is. Don't do that chord, do it, whatever. But it's a really nice sounding chord over that E. So again. Now, down here you can do it, but as I said, I've seen them play, both of these guys, Billy and Joe, play it up the neck. And it does make this a little bit more of a stretch, but it makes it easier to get it clean and get a better feel into it. So, you're working off that E as a pedal tone. Now to get back to that E, after you do the pull off on the G, like that, you're going to need to use this pinky in the riff because that's the way that you can reach that and get it flowing really well. So you get this. The next riff is probably one of his more famous ones, and it's really simple, but it's so famous, which is great because it's just such an iconic riff. Again, there are notes in here that the bass would normally take, but to play this and make it sound full on a single guitar, you're doing this. It's Lagrange from Tres Hombres. Everybody knows this song. So it's like this. He starts, and this is one of those riffs that he does play with his fingers, right? A lot of these other ones, he can do it with a pick. And he plays with a pick and he plays with fingers. Usually the boogie stuff, the triplet feel and the boogie stuff, he'll be using his fingers. But it's one of the things that I love about Billy Gibbons is that he goes from pick to fingers very, very smoothly, very easily. When he plays with his fingers, he's got awesome groove and great tone in his fingers as well. But when he uses a pick, he does something else that when I first heard it in the 80s, I had never heard anyone do this before, this particular technique. I'm going to show you what it is a little bit later on, but it was just completely out of left field, and I didn't know what it was when I first heard it. When I figured it out, I used it a lot, probably overused it for a while. Anyway, starts in A with this all three A, D, and G strings together. And you hear that little percussive sound in between those notes. You don't need to emphasize that percussive bit very loudly. In fact, don't even worry about doing it. But if you're putting things in the right place, every time your fingers come back down to do another, that's where that percussive thing is. So don't try too hard to put it in. Just know that that's there. And it's kind of like a place keeper because it helps you get that groove going really, really naturally. And also what he's doing here, squeezing it on and immediately releasing the pressure to keep that note short. And just keeping your finger on the A chord, just going up to the C, then the D. Second time round, play with your pinky. Well, use your third finger if you can stretch up to it, but I think get up with your pinky if you can. Up to the 5 on the D, and then the 5 on the G. The second time he goes into that C and D riff on the A string, he's actually pulling off a little bit to the open A, so he's kind of like going. But when he starts, he doesn't really pull off much. Anyway, it's a slight subtle difference. That's the riff. That's pretty much the whole song. Which I'm going to put in just for a little bit of extra stuff. Go up to the 5th fret with the D and the E strings and go. Then back to the A, just like we did in Certified Blues. That's the kind of the middle breakdown riff. The next one is another really, really dead simple one, and it's another one where the bass is taking the G and really kind of laying down that groove. And Billy Gibbons is playing just a very simple, and he'll be doing this with a pick to get that really kind of sharp, strummy feel. But if you want to include the G bass note, you probably want to use your fingers in order to get these two strings isolated, the D and G. Then it goes to a C. Then up to a D, as a standard blues will do. Finishing off with a E flat 9 down to a D9. That's in the key of G. Hi Floyd, how you doing? Nearly finished, mate. Then finally is probably my favourite of these riffs, which is from a song off the album called Tejas, which was 1976, I believe. And all of these albums, all of these great old ZZ Top early albums are just filled with interesting, great, crunchy guitar sounds and great riffs. Do yourself a favor, if you don't know these albums, go back through them. It's a treasure trove of great three-piece rock blues stuff. And he's got some quirky sounds and some quirky riffs in there. It's very, like, just go and have a listen. So the last one is Enjoy and Get It On. And it's a great thing. He uses a slide. I'm going to show you where the slide really kind of gets a workout here, but the riff is this. At the start, what he does is this. And he slides with his slide, which he usually uses on his second finger, or this finger, excuse me. But he'll slide, he's going up to the 12th fret on the D and the G strings. If you're not using a slide, it doesn't matter. You can get up there with those two fingers and make it sound good. Give it a shake when you're up there. Alternatively, you could just hit the harmonics. Then they launch into it again. When they go to C, because this is obviously in the key of G, moving up to D, use the D, open D string. So, because I love it so much, I'm going to play that through all the way through, and hopefully not make too many mistakes. And it goes like this. There you have it, 5 of my favourite Billy Gibbons riffs. I can't tell you enough how worthwhile it is to go through those first 5 or 6 albums. Something that I haven't mentioned here is the live album, which Tush was taken from. It's 100 miles an hour. It's such a great recording. It's messy, it's live, it's frantic, it's a thunderous recording of a band just going full steam ahead, and it's worth checking out. So the technique that I mentioned earlier is a pick harmonic that Billy Gibbons uses on some solos. The first time I heard it, I think, was on the solo for Lagrange. I'll give you a quick listen to that and you can hear the kind of crazy sound it makes. Now it's not so crazy because people have been doing it for a long time, but when I first heard him do this, it was something new. Have a listen. what he's doing there and trying to get this on the recording, hopefully will work. Instead of picking this note cleaning, it doesn't, I'm using the G string because it works particularly well on a G string. It also works on the low strings very well. But what you're doing is you're picking the note with the pick as usual, and you can do this with a fingernail if you're kind of striking the strings like I sometimes do with a fingernail, but it's much harder. You really need to dig in, and what you're doing is you're picking the string, but at the same time as you pick the note, the edge of your thumb will be touching the string as your pick leaves the string. To describe it is more complicated than it actually is. What you need to do is get your pick, hold it pretty close down to the point, but dig into these notes and try and strike the note and have this part of your thumb just touching the string as the pick leaves. And so it's kind of almost like you're touching it with your finger and the pick at the same time. And what that's doing is that's getting these harmonics that we probably all know about, which are really most prevalent on the 5th, 7th and 12th frets, because they are where the nodes are on the strings, and that's more physics than we need to get into right now. But depending on what note you're fretting, the strongest harmonic will actually be in a different position depending on how high up the neck your note that you're fretting is. So what you might find really works as a good note here for the G string 5th fret might need to come up a little bit for your 7th fret. But it's really a tactile technique, and you really need to kind of play around with it and experiment with it a lot to get it sounding good and to get control and command over it when you want it. It also works really well on the low strings as well. Overdrive helps a little bit, distortion of course, but overdrive is kind of, you know, where Billy Gibbons lives. But that's a fun thing to play around with, so try that out as well. That's a little kind of bonus technique that you can get from this video, hopefully. If you want to check out one more great Billy Gibbons riff and a great ZZ Top song, check out my lesson, which I'm going to put a link up to here, for cheap sunglasses. I've done an arrangement for that, and hope you enjoy that as well. Thanks for watching. See you here next time.